What's up, guys? Scotty2Hockey here, aka the Average Hockey Fan once again. And if you missed it, you missed a good one. The Montreal Canadiens defeated the Florida Panthers 5-4 in Game 3 of the preseason. The Habs are now 3-0, and the young player Nick Suzuki, after having a bit of a rough outing in his first game of the preseason, wasn't up to his standards in my opinion, absolutely shined in this game and definitely is making a case for cracking the lineup this year in Montreal. In my opinion, Poehling and Suzuki have both made very good cases to play in Montreal this year. Brendan Gallagher and Artturi Lehkonen looked phenomenal together. Lehkonen had a ton of battle. Gallagher was finishing every opportunity he got. Jordan Weals was wheeling and dealing on that line with Suzuki. Tons of battle behind the net. Love Jordan Weals' tenacity. Brett Kulak was amazing on the blue line. Liked what I saw from Josh Brook. As far as Carey Price goes, he did have a rough game, guys. I'm not gonna lie. He allowed 4 goals, on only 18 shots. But this time it was the Habs bailing Price out and not Price bailing the Habs out. And they faced an inferior Florida lineup. Florida did not have a lot of their good players dressed. There was no Huberdeau, there was no Barkov, there was no Bobrovsky in net. But the goalie who was in net, Montembeault, a Montreal native, he was very, very good for the Florida Panthers. He kept them in this game. Montreal dominated the possession, dominated the shots. They should have won this game before the shootout, but boy, I'm glad it went to a shootout. The shots were 46-18 for Montreal. Florida had 18 block shots. Montreal had 8. Panthers had 42 hits, Montreal had 34 hits. The Panthers had a 45.6% face-off percentage. Montreal had a 54.4% face-off percentage. The Panthers had 1 takeaway, Montreal had 5 takeaways. The Panthers had a 28 turnovers, guys, which is really high. And Montreal only had 15 turnovers, which is kind of on the high end too, but it was a very chippy game, a very back-and-forth game, so I'm not shocked. Unfortunately, Montreal went 0 for 2 on their power play. Still don't have a power play goal in the preseason. The Panthers went 1 for 3 on their power play. Back-to-back games with a power play goal for Florida. The very first goal, the Montreal Canadiens get it in the Florida zone. Weber gets it over to Suzuki. Suzuki gets it over to Weals. Weals flies down the ice. The very first shot of the game, 101 into the game, beats Montembeault with a cheeky little backhand. Just squatted into the backhand. He came down, flew down. Didn't look like it was going to go into me. Looked like kind of a weak goal, but Weals got a goal out of it. 14:42 after that, Owen Tippett, an excellent prospect for the Florida Panthers, scores off a wrist shot, assisted by Jonathan Ange and Ethan Prow. 1:36 after that, Anthony Greco scores off a wrist shot unassisted. 2:49 after that into the second period, Jonathan Ange scores off a wrist shot assisted by Yoel Lowry and Jake Massey. I'm sorry if I'm butchering some of these Florida name guys. I don't know who a lot of these young players on Florida are. They're not highly touted prospects. Owen Tippett is. 5:16 into the second period, Brendan Gallagher scores off a wrist shot assisted by Artturi Lehkonen and Max Domi, and Lehkonen battled to keep that puck in the zone. Got it over to Galley in front of the net. Galley gets off a clean wrist shot, beats the goalie clean. Beautiful goal. Brett Kulak scores off a beautiful assist from Nick Suzuki where he gets it under the defender's stick. Kulak has no problem bearing it. Brendan Gallagher then scores off a nice wrist shot. Once again, Lehkonen's on the sideboards, whips it over to Galley. Galley has no problem bearing it. Shea Weber had an assist as well. 10-10, the only goal into the third period, a power play goal by Brett Conley, a tip-in assisted by Vincent Trocheck and Keith Yandel. Now, in the shootout, Nick Suzuki had a phenomenal goal. He came down, made a little move in front of the goalie, got him going to one side, and just put it up over his shoulder. No problem. Jordan Weals comes down for the second shootout goal, beats the goalie clean with a wrist shot, and then Phil Varone, pretty much the same as Jordan Weals, a clean wrist shot, beats Montembeault, 3 for 3 in the shootout. The Habs win the game. They're now 3-0 in the preseason. A phenomenal game. Nick Suzuki looked great, making an excellent case to make the team. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comment of Nick Suzuki's performance. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course comment. This is Scotty2Hockey, aka the Average Hockey Fan. Over and out, folks.